one, hey all, welcome back to the channel, and this one has been a long time coming. It is of course going to be my look at this. It is the Kingdom Galvatron leader class offering. Oh, and a lot of people have said, man, he is better than the Titans Return version, which I didn't have. I skipped over it because I had this guy. This is the Unique Toys Mania King. So my question becomes, is the new Kingdom Leader class better than the Unique Toys Mania King? We're going to do some comparisons. We're also going to take a look at some custom paint apps that I did on this guy. And we're going to talk a little bit about those shoulders and why I don't really think they need to be fixed. All of that is going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that, all down in the description below. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can also use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube. Become a channel member, baby. And this is the new leader class Galvatron, as I've said a couple of times now. And I was on the fence about this guy, about kind of what I thought of him, if he was a true leader, all that we're going to talk about. There's been a lot of debate about the shoulders of this guy. Mine are the incorrect ones, but I'm okay with it, and I'll explain why that is. The big question for me really boiled down to a comparison of these two, because the Unique Toys Mania King is still, to this day, quite a good Galvatron. How is this guy going to fare up? How is he going to do? Well, we're about to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so finally, at long last, I'm getting an opportunity to look at none other than the Kingdom Galvatron. Man, I feel like I've been waiting for this guy forever. He was so slow to get here. And while a lot of people have looked at this guy, I have been very interested to know what I think of him in comparison to my Galvatron, of course, the Unique Toys Mania King. I mentioned earlier that we were going to kind of look at this guy in light of how he measures up with that. Undoubtedly, he is better than the Titans Return version. I think we all knew that going in, didn't we? Is he, however, a true leader? Well, we'll see. But of course, before we can answer any of those questions and get to him, we have to take a quick look at the packaging first. And our packaging looks like this. It is Galvatron-y packaging. I kind of like the look of his whole cannon thing here. He does have those two blasters up there that look like the Revenge in this artwork. We have Galvatron up here with the matrix around his neck, a la G1, your typical kind of Kingdom packaging images there. On the back, of course, we have the product images. You will notice that there's a smooth top on the shoulder. That indicates that the shoulder's in the right direction, I guess. And our boy comes with a gigantic sheet of instructions, double-sided. They're actually pretty bright and clear. He also comes with this chain that goes around his neck. It has the matrix on it. The matrix, by the way, can like rotate around if you wanted to do that. I don't think it comes off. I guess if you worked at it enough, you could get it off. There's a little rectangular peg here in his cannon mode. I do believe that this locks in. Then in robot mode, it just seems to kind of hang around his neck. Our boy also comes with two of these blasters. There's a 5mm peg here so he can hold it in his hand I guess like this as a blaster, or because we have a peg and a slot here, you can take both of them and put them together. It's supposed to look like the Revenge, even though this is gray and the Revenge was purple. And we get the ever popular collector card. This one is the Arc. What happens when we peel it? It's the Arc as a robot, not easily identifiable there because of the hologram, but yeah. So I don't care about these cards. So the good news is that he's fantastic. The bad news is that he is not a leader class offering. I know he's priced at it, but he's not. He clocks in at 263 grams, a traditional leader. Even in the Kingdom line, clocks in at about, 315 to 325 or more. Grimlock from the Studio Series line, for example, all in is 333. The Ultra Magnus is 328. The Beast Wars Megatron is again around 323 or something like that. This guy is definitely more than a Voyager, much more than a Voyager, but he still falls short of being an actual leader. Maybe the other aspects of him will justify the price point. Like maybe the engineering here is going to be kind of bonkers. We'll see as we go through. But he does come in a bit light for a leader. So a few things that I'll note right now kind of off the bat. We have his blaster here that can go on his forearm. There's a hole so it can go on his upper arm. No problem on either arm. All four of my slots are fine. Some people have complained about one or more of these ports being loose. All of mine are just fine. Now, I'm going to, again, for now I'm just going to take this off for a moment. And I'm going to take these off. Like, okay, I didn't need those. And you know what? I didn't need this, honestly. Let's talk about the elephant in the room before we get into anything. These shoulders. Mine are the incorrect shoulders, apparently, because mine, they have the ridge on top. It's not smooth. So, there's two ways that you can go about really fixing it based on what I've seen. The first is that you can actually wedge out or find some other way to remove this pin back here and basically take the arm off, turn this piece around, and then put the arm back on. It is evidently important to have the pin hole on the back of the arm because by rights you're supposed to bring up the tread here and peg it in on the back of the arm. Great, dandy, that's proper transformation. But then that also, actually I don't even think I have it in there. If you do that, then you lose bicep swivel. Why anyone would ever do that is beyond me. If you do it, don't, because you're robbing yourself of dynamic posing options. Don't do that. Guess what? They stay there just fine with friction. The other option that I have seen for fixing it is much less invasive. By the way, I'm not popping pins. I've never done it and I'm not about to be the dude to do it. If you are cool, good on you. I've also seen a lot of people and they will take the arm, and I just pop that off the body, and they've rotated it around thusly. You could certainly do that. Now, of course, the criticism that comes in here is, well, he just toppled over on me. Yeesh. The criticism that comes in here is that now you can't peg this into the back of the arm because you don't have the proper hole there. There's even fillers to go in these, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think I've seen a couple of people do it. I want to say shout out to Larkin's Lair. I think he got fillers to go in there if I'm not mistaken. If you want to do that. Here's the thing. I looked at the animation and I looked at where his shoulders are in the animation. And based on that, it varies. Sometimes they are up like this, and sometimes in the animation, the shoulder, the top of the shoulder is even with the very beginning of the shoulder, like pylon, which would make the incorrect way the correct way for animation. I know that sounds weird. So there's an argument to be made that the higher shoulder is correct. There's an argument to be made that the lower shoulder is correct. Officially, the higher shoulder is the way it's supposed to be assembled. So we have an assembly error, a common assembly error for, again, a leader class price point, and the price of a leader went up. So this was even more expensive, and you didn't even have the common sense to put this together correctly. Great QC there. I'm telling you, the guy's fantastic, but there's a lot of lessons to be learned here about what we as fans are willing to accept, man. But I'm leaving mine down the incorrect way because to me that looks more correct. Take that for what you will. Here he is with his fusion cannon on it next to my vintage color Mania King. This, of course, is by Unique Toys. And I looked at Mania King a long time ago in episode 140, man. 140. Long time ago. Now, looking at both of these guys, I mean, height-wise, they're similar, but size-wise, the mask definitely got to go with the Kingdom version. My wife, Starscream wife, took a look at both of these. She held both of them and said, this is a hard call. Usually I go with her as to which one is better. But she said that this was a really difficult call to make. Why? Because the Unique Toys one is more slender, and it seems to have a little more sophistication to it. But it looks like a version of Galvatron with more finesse, if that makes sense. The Kingdom version looks like he's a big, dangerous bruiser. I get it. I get where she's coming from. Both of these are quite excellent, but for different reasons. In terms of things being advantageous, I feel like the range of motion on the Unique Toys one is, you know, very comparable, in a few ways even better than with Kingdom, just for sheer range of motion. However, the big weakness on Mania King that isn't on the Kingdom version is that the wrists of Mania King do not move. So he has like the gorilla arm syndrome thing. That's unfortunate. If he didn't have that, man, he would give the Kingdom a real run for his money. I'm just saying. Also, here we have Galvatron with Cyclonus, Nightstick, and the Armada, as well as Scourge and a couple of sweeps. For the record, these are just 3 Scourge. The upcoming sweep just has the hands switched around. I think I'm good. You may also notice that there's a custom fracas in the hand of Scourge, or Scourge as I like to call him, and as Cyclonus calls him. I think that this looks good. That being said, I don't know, which display do you think looks better? The Kingdom lad there, or Mania King there? Again, there's an argument for both. Alright, so let's get into scores for the guy. I'm going to say now he's a 10. Out of package, he's a solid, I'm going to say 9.5. There's a few things that I've done here. First, I took the space goop off of him. It was easy to get it off. I thought it was blue paint. Apparently it was purple. Just used some rubbing alcohol. It was the easiest kind of space gunk, battle damage, whatever you want to call it, to get off of anything from the War for Cybertron line. It was simple. Then I also added red, fire engine red actually, to his belt buckle, up on the crest of his head, on the top of his shoulder pylons, and really on the sides of his hip skirt pieces. He keeps wanting to kind of fall over there on me. Not because he's heavy, it's just I'm being a klutz here, I think. So I did add those few things. I took off the gunk. He's a 10. He was a solid 9.25, 9.5 at a package. Oh, I also put the little goatee, soul patch, whatever it is, on his chin. Because for me, I want the guy to look like G1. It's as simple as that. You can say it's right, you can say it's right, you can say, yo, but he's supposed to look like the War for Cybertron version. I don't care what you say. For me, I know what Galvatron is my Galvatron, and that's what I wanted the boy to look like. In terms of being accurate to the War for Cybertron iteration of Galvatron, I mean, he was a 10 at a package. He was perfect, right? I mean, it is what it is. So to be fair, because he's a 10, due to me doing some custom work that, like, you know, makes me now super happy with him, that's the subjective one. We're going to stick, for the process of scores here, we're going to stick with a split between the 9.5 and the 10 that I saw. We're going to say 9.75. Pretty much a perfect looking Galvatron to start. The articulation for the guy, we have a head that can go left and right, looks up. Not much down, a wiggle down, like a wiggle up. The shoulders, right or wrong, can go all the way around. The pieces, like, I don't know what we call it, tread on the back, it can move up and down and move around. We do have a bicep swivel. If you don't lock this in, don't lock that in. We have a double elbow, love that. We have Wrist rotation. We have arm all the way out, laterally to the side. These shoulder pylon pieces, they can also move. We have a waist that moves nicely. Legs can go forward. Legs can go back. Thigh swivel. 90-degree at the knee there. Ankle tilt. Big ankle tilt. Do yourself a favor when you do the transformation. Make sure that you pop out those heel spurs. It makes life a lot easier, man, in terms of posing this guy. The articulation is pretty much all there. For the most part, he stands quite well. I'm going to say articulation, 10. It does what I want the guy to do. So at 9.75 and a 10, I mean, we might as well be saying a 10 and 10. We might as well be saying this guy is a perfect Galvatron thus far. Okay, so with what's basically a perfect score so far, let's see how the transformation goes. Full disclosure, I did start the transformation once. I made a couple of, I'm going to say, critical errors because I haven't done this guy in a while. And honestly, where he is misassembled, the instructions are only so correct. I have to make certain little allocations for the incorrect nature of the shoulders. Nothing major, but just worth noting. So we begin by taking this off, and it will split. We'll see this again later on. We take the hand and rotate it in the arm, and then the arm comes up. There's a little rectangular peg here and a little rectangular slot here. That should lock in. I'm definitely not going to be able to do it on camera because I can't see it to do it. But it will lock in, and then this comes down, and this whole shoulder section comes out on the side. Same over here, the hand goes straightened and goes in. We would bring it up, this comes down around on the bottom, and the whole shoulder section comes off, which really loosens up the body. I'm gonna get the arm solidified and then we'll go on from there. Okay, so I didn't do anything other than kind of peg the arms in and the treads on the bottom. It's easier to do it when I have the vantage point of being able to see it rather than trying to look from a distance, which is what I'm trying to do here. So we'll kind of continue on. It's not much done, it's just I got the arms a little bit solidified. They're gonna hang out for now. Then we have the main body to deal with and kind of the lower legs here to deal with. So the main body, we kind of pick that back and we pick this piece off. There is a rectangular hole in here on the top edge and a rectangular peg on the gray of the neck. We take that and we flip that back in and we bring this down. Now, there's a purple rectangular peg and it will go here where the neck was just pegged in. It is a bit of a nuisance sometimes to line it up, although it did it really nicely that time. We also need to kind of flip the kind of hips back. There's a hip skirt in there that can move. I don't know why it can move. It's no point in it moving, but it can. So we kind of bring that forward and we kind of bring this up. How is it that this goes? Pardon the cut, I wanted to make sure I was telling you the right thing and I was fiddling with this purple piece. This purple piece does fit up over like this and kind of like that. Back there like that. There. Then we take these hip skirt pieces and they come out on the side. And we're going to bring down the shoulder, I guess pauldrons we call them. And there's a rectangular peg here and it will tab in behind here. Thusly. Same over here, it will tab in, come down and tab in. Once we get it down the way we want it. I don't know why that one's not cooperating with me there. There. So we have both of those tabbed in. For the most part, that's the front of this done. Now you'll notice that here isn't tabbed in and here isn't tabbed in. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. That'll be the last part actually that we'll do, because that's the part that a lot of people are like, oh, you can't transform it if the shoulders aren't right. Yes, you can. So we're going to deal with the legs next. For the legs, we open out and we open out. We turn the leg this way, and we turn the leg this way. We'll bring all this all the way over. Once we deal with the legs, there's a little rectangular tab here and slot here. That will be part of what holds all the legs together. We come here and we, basically using the ankle tilt, we bend down the leg. Using the ankle tilt, we bend down the leg. If you didn't have the heel spurs already folded in, fold the heel spurs in, and then bring down this piece and bring down this piece. Now you have to kind of tab all the legs together, and there's a bunch of little tabs and pegs and whatnot. I'm going to do that, and then we'll kind of finish this guy off. Okay, so we had a tab down here that goes in, 2 tabs in the legs in here that go together, this gray tab up here that goes together, then there's 2 little tabs on the legs that the purple pieces solidify down over, and all of it sort of locks in flush with this back purple piece. That's kind of how everything goes together, which brings us to the last part. Man, I don't know how well you can see this, but there's a little tab right there and a little slot in there. And that tab needs to go locked into that slot. Normally, you would just be able to kind of put it in there no problem. For me, I need to use a little more force. I find the best way to do it is to grab on from the 2 sides here and push down from the front. And then when you push in, guess what? You hear both of them click in. Then it's just a matter of straightening that out. You can take your orange blaster piece and put it there, and then there's a peg hole up there, and you can take this piece and put it up right there. If you are so inclined, you can add both the matrix and the other 2 blasters that look like the Revenge to this as well. For the matrix, we bring it down over, and then using that rectangular peg I said, you peg it in right there. And then for the Revenge, there's 2 little rectangular pegs on the gray barrel, I suppose, and using this elongated edge in here, maybe you couldn't even see that, elongated edge in right there, you should be able to, if I can find it here now, pop that one on if you want, and I don't find that they want to go on the best, to be honest with you. Pop that one on if you want, and overall, here is the absolute completed whatever this is mode. I had to stretch out the arms just a little bit more. There are tires. He rolls all right, I guess. Now, some people have said that if you had the shoulders in the right orientation, that this would sit up a little more straight or something. I don't know. Honestly, I don't care. He can get in here and he's quite solid. I will note that going back to robot mode, and I can't speak if this is the case for the regular release of this guy with the correct shoulders or not. I can only speak for mine with the incorrect shoulders. But to separate the chest sections down here, I do find that it's better if you kind of slide them. But that's just me. Overall, the transformation is quite good, quite solid, engineered really well with a lot of the body unfurling. It's very interesting. Even with a misassembly, you can accomplish it. That says a lot for about how well it actually is done. Again, I'm going to have to say it's a 10. Yes, he most definitely is a bit light for a leader. But this is also definitely a situation where the engineering really does kind of help justify the price. Do I still think he's a bit overpriced? Little bit. But in general, I think leader is a little bit overpriced. I would have been happier if he was about $10 cheaper Canadian. But as it is, I feel like this might be the be-all and end-all for Galvatron. If you've been on the fence, I don't think you need to be on the fence any longer. If you're worried about the shoulders, I don't think you need to worry about the shoulders. Any way you cut it, this guy is pretty fantastic. fantastic. And here we are once again, and here he is, and you know what? He's a great Galvatron. I think Starscream Wife said it best. This guy feels more refined, and he looks like he would have more finesse. This guy looks like a big threatening bruiser, so it really sort of, I guess, depends on what you want your Galvatron to look like, because both of them are actually quite good. This guy does have the advantage that he doesn't have the gorilla arms. Of course, the shoulders, arguably, are in the incorrect position. Now, of course, as we all know, you can do a few things to fix them. As I mentioned, you can turn them around and put a filler in, or just have the pin there, or you can actually go through the hassle and danger, I'll say, of popping a pin. Unless you really know what you're doing, I don't know if I would advise that. I'm not doing it. Or you can do like me and just leave them, because I think they actually look more accurate lower, personally. It does nothing to affect the transformation. He still transforms just fine. If you actually wanted to turn the shoulders around, of course, you know, some people say like, well, you can't peg this in on the back. Why would you ever want to peg that in on the back? It takes away a bicep rotation. They rest there just fine with friction, so not being able to peg them on the back, so what? The cannon mode, very interesting, very cool transformation to get there. Really, really clever and well done with the way the body sort of unfurls, a la Cyclonus. It is a well done Galvatron. Really well done. Definitely the best mainline Galvatron that we have ever gotten. Arguably, might be the best we ever get. Let me know what you think about Galvatron. Yeah, he's pretty impressive, I gotta say. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring. Or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. While you're at it, man, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, have some fun with us. We do a lot here on the channel. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference, man. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.